David Woolley didn't come onto the tell-all set looking for a fight. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't throw insults. But somehow, his calm, honest words hit Kody harder than anything Christine, Janelle, or even the fans have ever said. See, David isn't just Christine's new husband. He's a man who knows the world of polygamy because he grew up inside it. His own sisters were plural wives. He's seen the inside workings, the emotional games, the power dynamics, the way men use God to control women and pit them against each other. All of it. So when he sat down and looked into the camera, David didn't speak like someone guessing from the outside. He spoke as someone who survived it and walked away. What made his voice so powerful is that he didn't speak with bitterness. He didn't mock Kody. He just told the truth, quietly, firmly, and you could feel the tension in the room shift. David said what so many have whispered for years, that many men in plural marriages, especially the ones like Kody, use women as weapons. They don't just take multiple wives. They make sure those wives are constantly insecure, always afraid of losing love, always competing. And that's not heavenly order, that's emotional manipulation. As David said it, Kody's jaw tightened, his posture stiffened. He wouldn't even make eye contact. His whole body screamed discomfort. Because David wasn't attacking, he was revealing, and Kody knew it. This wasn't about Christine moving on with someone new. This was about the man she chose being everything Kody isn't, honest, emotionally present, and unwilling to play games with women's hearts. And when David said, "A real man doesn't need multiple women to feel important," you could have heard a pin drop. For the first time, Kody wasn't just being challenged by an ex-wife. He was being called out by another man. A man who knew the game and refused to play it. And that, more than anything, shook Kody to his core. Christine didn't flinch when David spoke. She didn't look down, didn't try to soften his words. She just sat beside him, calm, confident, and stood in the truth with him. For years, Christine was the one who kept smiling through the pain. She was the peacemaker, the one who laughed to keep from crying, the one who stayed silent so the family could look normal on camera. She was always the one who tried, who hoped, who believed that if she just worked harder, maybe Kody would choose her, just once. But that Christine is gone. This version of Christine, she's not pretending anymore. She's not minimizing the hurt or sugarcoating what happened. She's no longer carrying the guilt of leaving. She's carrying clarity. When David spoke about how polygamy is used to pit women against each other, Christine didn't have to explain it. Her entire life in the Brown family was living proof. The jealousy, the loneliness, the way Kody made each wife feel like she was always less than. Christine lived that, and now she finally has someone willing to say it out loud, and that's what makes this moment so powerful. Christine isn't standing alone anymore. She was the first one brave enough to say, "Enough. I won't live like this." The first to walk away from the illusion and into the unknown. Back then, she was shaking when she said those words. Now? Now she says it with peace. With a man beside her who doesn't just love her, he sees her, he validates everything she went through, and he's not afraid to hold Kody accountable either. And viewers saw it. They noticed. Christine didn't carry shame. She didn't look like a woman trying to prove anything. She looked like someone finally free. Christine used to silence herself to protect Kody's ego. Today, she protects her truth, and David helps carry it. Together, they showed what real healing looks like. And in that tell-all moment, Christine wasn't angry. She wasn't vindictive. She was whole. And that might be the most powerful thing of all. As the tell-all unfolded, something started to feel off. Not with the Browns. We've come to expect the drama, the shifting truths, the raw emotions. No, this time it was the host, Sukanya, and viewers couldn't ignore it. There was a strange softness in her tone whenever Kody spoke, a carefulness, a noticeable effort to understand him, even as he twisted the narrative, deflected blame, and flat out contradicted things we've all seen with our own eyes. Fans watched in disbelief as Suki let Kody go unchallenged, time and time again. He rewrote history, threw out accusations, even mocked his ex-wives. And instead of pressing deeper, she often pivoted, changed the subject, softened the edges. At one point, Kody suggested Christine manipulated the kids, and Suki nodded, almost thoughtfully, like his version might actually carry equal weight. But where was that same empathy for Christine? For Janelle? For the years of emotional neglect these women survived? It wasn't just what Suki said.
It was what she didn't. She didn't ask the obvious follow-ups. She didn't press him when his stories didn't add up. She didn't challenge the gaslighting, the hypocrisy, the performative outrage. Viewers felt it, a subtle but persistent bias. Not blatant, but enough to raise eyebrows. So, what's really going on here? Is this just poor journalism? A reluctance to confront a man like Kody? Or is it something deeper? A fear of rocking the boat, of upsetting a long-running franchise, of losing access to the Brown family? Because when truth is on the line, especially after years of these women suffering in silence, a host's job is not to protect comfort. It's to hold people accountable. And this time, many fans agree, Suki missed that mark. Badly. For years, Kody Brown preached the sacredness of plural marriage, the unity, the divine structure, the shared love. But viewers now see it for what it really was, a crumbling illusion. A story crafted for television. While behind the scenes, he had already emotionally checked out of the other marriages. The truth? Kody's polygamy ended the moment Robyn entered the picture. The timeline doesn't lie. As soon as Robyn joined the family, the balance shifted. The other wives, Christine, Janelle, and Mary, watched the man they once shared grow distant, dismissive, and cold. Kody called it COVID safety. Fans called it what it was, emotional monogamy. He built a fortress around Robyn, literally and emotionally. She got the consistent attention, the protection, the public defense. The other wives got rules, resentment, and rejection. Christine saw it first. She spoke it out loud. He has a favorite. And that cracked the whole thing open. Janelle endured it quietly for years until the silence became too heavy to carry. Mary? She was strung along with vague promises and cold comforts, all while Kody confessed on camera that their relationship had long been dead. But still, he let her believe there was a door open. There wasn't. And Robyn, she always insists she never wanted to be the only one. But her actions say otherwise. The tears, the dramatics, the quiet compliance whenever Kody twisted facts to serve his narrative. It wasn't just passivity, it was enabling. Fans saw it all, the contradictions, the manipulation, the gaslighting, the way Kody weaponized loyalty to excuse his absence, and used respect as a leash. What we've been watching isn't plural marriage. It's a monogamous couple clinging to a storyline, and three women slowly waking up to the fact that they were no longer part of it. Kody and Robyn tried to sell unity, but what viewers saw was isolation. One home filled with comfort, and three others filled with confusion, disappointment, and fading hope. And now the facade is falling apart, because the truth doesn't need editing. For years, Kody Brown wielded religion like a sword, not to guide, but to guilt. Submission was dressed as spiritual duty. Doubt was framed as disobedience to God, and the wives? They were told that their suffering had purpose, that enduring emotional starvation was somehow sacred. But when Christine started to question, when Janelle drew lines, suddenly the rules changed. The hypocrisy cut deep. Kody moralized constantly, about commitment, obedience, the right way to live plural marriage. But he conveniently left out one glaring detail. He and Robyn weren't exactly saints when they began. Their premarital intimacy, long whispered about, flew in the face of the very principles he used to shame the other wives. He kept that secret buried, while he preached purity to Christine, Janelle, and Mary. And when control began to slip, he didn't lead with honesty. He love-bombed. Sudden bursts of affection, uncharacteristic compliments, lavish gifts, a flood of attention. Just enough to make them question their instincts, just enough to create confusion. Then came the inevitable withdrawal. Cold, silence, emotional distance, punishment for not falling back in line. It wasn't love, it was manipulation wrapped in scripture. This wasn't about preserving faith, it was about preserving power, and for a long time, the wives internalized it, believed that their pain meant they were failing God. But now the fog is lifting, because real love doesn't demand silence, and real faith doesn't require fear. Kody Brown has always tried to present himself as composed, the thoughtful father, the righteous husband, the misunderstood leader of a complex family. But the tell all shattered that illusion. Because when David, Woolley, or Christine touched the nerves he spent years protecting, the truth about intimacy, abandonment, or his skewed past, Kody unravels. It starts in his face, the redness rising to his cheeks, the way his eyes flicker with panic. Then comes the voice, no longer calm or assured, but shaky, tense, desperate. He stops listening. He lashes out. Especially when his sexuality or masculinity are even remotely questioned, he turns volatile. The moment David speaks with quiet clarity, naming what so many have seen but never dared say, Kody's ego implodes. He glares, deflects, and then goes on the offensive. The rage isn't about what's said, it's about who is saying it. Because David isn't just any man, he's the opposite of Kody. Steady, grounded, unbothered by bravado. And worst of all, genuinely loved by Christine. Kody can't compete with that, not anymore. So he attacks. Not just David's words, but his character, his motives, even his manhood. It's textbook projection. The more threatened Kody feels, the more he tries to dominate the room. But in doing so, he exposes exactly what he wanted to hide, his fragile ego. This wasn't a man defending truth. It was a man drowning in it. And the meltdown, the visible, sputtering unraveling, was the final nail in the illusion. Kody wasn't the spiritual patriarch he always claimed to be. He was a man undone by his own reflection. For years, viewers of Sister Wives watched in frustration, seeing the cracks, the favoritism, the gaslighting, but no one inside the family ever dared say it plainly. Until now. David Woolley didn't come in with anger. He came in with truth. And by speaking what so many have felt for years, he shattered the silence that protected Kody's ego. His words gave validation to every viewer who sensed the imbalance but was told it was just how polygamy works. And then there's Christine. Finally free, no longer carrying the burden of pretending. Her peace isn't loud or vengeful. It's quiet, grounded. She didn't win a fight. She walked away from a lie. That's real victory. Meanwhile, Kody's world, built on control, manipulation, and spiritual guilt, is falling apart. Not with a bang, but under the steady pressure of truth and accountability. Now we want to hear from you. Do you believe Kody ever truly loved his wives equally? Or was it always about power? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if this breakdown resonated with you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to TLC Sister Wives Recap, and tap the bell so you never miss the real story behind the scenes. Thanks for watching. Your support keeps the truth alive.